He took on a gang of jocks and won, but he's not the only one. These people broke every rule of human strength. He walked into the ring wearing the traditional orange robe of a Shaolin monk. No music, no expression, just calm focus. His opponent was a trained kickboxer, bigger, stronger, clearly confident, but as soon as the bell rang, everything flipped. Yi Long didn't dance around or taunt. He just stood there and took a full power punch to the face. No reaction, not even a blink. The crowd went silent for a moment and then exploded. Yi Long became a global phenomenon because of clips like that. But here's the twist. He's not officially a monk. He trained in martial arts inspired by Shaolin tradition, but he's not part of the temple. And that made people argue. Is he a real monk or just a fighter in a robe? Doesn't matter. Because whatever his background, his fights were real, brutal, and unforgettable. He combined Muay Thai, Sanda, and Kung Fu into something unique. His training wasn't about lifting weights or sprinting on treadmills. It was hundreds of kicks a day. Bare-knuckle punches into trees, standing under icy waterfalls to harden the body and the mind. Yi Long's style wasn't about finesse. It was about absorbing blows like a brick wall and breaking down opponents with sheer willpower. People around the world watched him and asked the same thing. How can someone take that much damage and keep going? The answer lies in how he trained. His routine wasn't about sculpting muscles for show. It was about becoming a living shield, a tank in human form. One story became legendary. A group of fitness influencers, huge guys, chiseled bodies, confident smirks, challenged him. Not one, not two, a whole group. They had height, muscle, and weight. He had focus. One by one, they stepped forward. One by one, they were taken down. No flashy moves, no unnecessary violence, just efficient, fast takedowns. When the last one stepped back in disbelief, Yi Long stood where he began, calm, still, untouched. At the peak of his fame, Yi Long's name became synonymous with Shaolin toughness, even if he never claimed to be the real deal. He played the role so well that the world believed it. And for a while, that belief made him unstoppable. Crowds packed arenas to see this monk-like figure walk through punches that would end anyone else's night. There's something timeless about watching someone like him. No trash talk, no gimmicks. Just raw discipline and a body trained like a machine. He wasn't flashy. He didn't need to be. He fought like a mountain, solid, unshakable, unmovable. In a time where fighters often sell their personalities louder than their punches, Yi Long was different. Silent, focused, and terrifying. A reminder that true strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just steps forward, takes a hit, and refuses to fall. They walk barefoot on sharpened gravel, hang upside down from trees for hours, and balance on 2 fingers like it's nothing. Real Shaolin monks don't just train to fight. They train to break what we think is humanly possible. Their strength looks supernatural, but it's not magic. It's raw discipline, forged over decades, every single day. What sets Shaolin monks apart isn't just what they do, it's how early they start. Many of them begin as children, waking up before sunrise, meditating in silence, then heading straight into training that would exhaust a pro athlete in an hour. And it never stops. No weekends, no breaks. They kick sandbags until their shins bleed, slam their forearms against tree trunks, until the nerves deaden and the bones harden. The pain isn't avoided, it's welcomed, it's a part of the path. But it's not just about smashing bricks. Their training is built on complete balance, body, breath, and mind. Every movement is tied to their breathing. Every form has a purpose. Whether it's a graceful stance or a sudden strike, it's all muscle memory, burned in through repetition. Over and over again, a punch isn't just a punch, it's a tool, a philosophy. And then there's the iron shirt training. This is where things start to feel impossible. Monks condition their bodies to take brutal impacts, spears to the throat, sledgehammers to the stomach. Some have been filmed bending metal bars against their heads without flinching. It's not a trick, it's science. They tighten their muscles and direct their breathing in a way that creates internal armor. It's a technique passed down for centuries, tested on real battlegrounds. Some monks spend years mastering just one skill, like jumping vertically from a squat and landing on narrow poles or spinning mid-air kicks that look like something from an anime fight scene. But what really leaves people speechless isn't their technique, it's their calm. You could be standing in front of someone who can snap a wooden staff in half with a single kick, and they'll speak with the stillness of a monk in meditation. And they don't compete for medals, they don't look for fame. Their world isn't built around clout or applause, it's built on control, self-mastery, inner silence. That's what gives them the edge, not just in combat, but in life. So when people say Shaolin monks look superhuman, they're not wrong. It's not because they have powers, it's because they've removed every weakness. Now, let's step outside the Shaolin Temple. Because around the world, there are others, fighters, lifters, and legends, who've pushed the human body to shocking extremes. Before the world had viral clips and fitness influencers, it had Alexander Zas. And this man didn't just lift weights, he bent iron bars with his bare hands, carried a horse on his shoulders, and escaped from chains like a real-life superhero. Born in the late 1800s, Zas became one of the most legendary strongmen in history, performing feats that still leave people speechless more than a century later. Zas didn't train in fancy gyms. He was raised in the Russian Empire and built his strength with raw, real-world resistance. Instead of dumbbells, he used heavy logs. Instead of machines, he dragged carts and gripped metal chains until they snapped. He believed in isometric strength, holding tension in the muscles without movement. And it worked. He once carried a piano with a man sitting on it, straight across a stage. No tricks, no wires. But his life wasn't just about shows. During World War I, Zas served as a soldier and was captured multiple times. Most prisoners would wait. Zas didn't. He bent the bars of his cell with his bare hands and escaped. Not once, not twice, 4 times. Each time, he used his training to pull off something that sounded more like a comic book scene than real life. His body wasn't just strong, it was adapted to stress, built for survival. Crowds across Europe called him the Iron Samson. Posters showed him snapping chains across his chest or holding massive weights in impossible positions. But what really made him special was how he trained others. Zas didn't believe you needed to be born special. He believed strength could be built by anyone with the right discipline. He created one of the first portable strength training devices, steel cables with handles, that focused on static resistance. Versions of his method are still used by professional athletes today. He understood something most modern training overlooks: the mind and muscle have to be one. Zas's legacy still echoes through the world of strength sports. He didn't have supplements or sponsors, he didn't need a brand. What he had was grit, determination, and a body that moved like a machine built for chaos. Even now, when people see old photos of him lifting horses or breaking chains, they assume it's fake. But it's all real. He was built differently because he trained differently. Giga Uguru isn't fiction. He's a real martial artist turned fitness icon, born in England with Nigerian roots. He's been dubbed the Black Ninja for striking balance between raw muscle and fluid motion. His videos have pulled millions of views by combining parkour, calisthenics, taekwondo kicks, and MMA-style precision into something that looks like it came out of an action movie. Uguru's strength doesn't come from lifting heavy in a gym. He builds power through bodyweight routines, pull-ups that end upside down, explosive jumps over walls, high-speed spinning kicks, and complete body control. He's known for split squats on concrete, gripping steel pipes mid-air, and doing handstand push-ups with a clean form. His physique is lean and shredded, every muscle earned, every rep visible. He often trains barefoot, turning city parks, staircases, and playgrounds into personal arenas. He moves like gravity's a suggestion. His flips land like they're scripted. His kicks snap with whip-like speed. Viewers say he feels like a cross between Neo from The Matrix and a street-level superhero. But what makes him different isn't just skill, it's his mindset. He doesn't do it for show. He trains for power, focus, and faith. His videos sometimes include messages about discipline, consistency, and never quitting, even when the world says no. That balance between calm and chaos is what draws fans in. He trains like someone on a mission. He's not chasing massive bulk, he's chasing perfect control. His strength is fast, functional, and ready at any moment. And that's what makes him dangerous. He can drop into a backflip kick with zero warning, or launch from a standing squat into a flying spin. That's not normal strength. That's training on another level. Giga Uguru proves that power today isn't just about size. It's about how fast you can move, how well you can control your body, and how long you can keep going. He doesn't need a stage, just a set of bars, a few stairs, and a mind locked into the moment. That's how legends are made. In a world where fighters dodge punches and avoid risks, Masoyama chose the opposite. He walked straight into danger, and sometimes right into a bullpen. Yes, real bulls. The founder of Kyokushin Karate didn't just spar with humans. He faced charging bulls in open arenas and defeated them using only his fists. Some accounts say he broke horns clean off with a single strike. Whether every story is exact or not, the message stuck. Masoyama wasn't someone you wanted to test. He trained with a level of discipline that made regular martial artists look like hobbyists. At one point, Oyama disappeared into the mountains for 18 months. living in isolation, punching trees, practicing forms under freezing waterfalls, and meditating in the snow. His entire goal was to destroy his own limits, and he succeeded. Kyokushin karate wasn't built to score points. It was built to end fights, full contact strikes, no gloves, no pulling punches. It was brutal and it worked. When Oyama returned to society, he challenged fighters of every style: judo, boxing, wrestling, and beat them. Fast. He was known for ending fights with a single body blow. Not a flashy kick, not a headshot, just one punch to the ribs and the match was over. One of his most famous challenges was the 300-man kumite. That's 300 consecutive full-contact fights over the course of 3 days. Most people couldn't finish 10 without breaking down. Oyama did all 300. When his students couldn't go on, he replaced them and kept fighting. There were no breaks, no timeouts, just constant battle. And yet, he was calm, stoic, measured. Outside the dojo, he lived modestly. No luxury cars, no fame chasing, just discipline and the pursuit of something higher. His philosophy shaped an entire generation of martial artists, many of whom still treat his teachings as sacred. Maz Oyama became more than a fighter. He became a symbol of ultimate willpower. He didn't fight for money or fans. He fought to push the line of what the human body could handle. And when that line broke, he kept walking forward. You don't forget Martin Ford after seeing him once. He looks like something straight out of a villain's origin story, standing at 6'8", over 320 pounds, completely covered in tattoos, with a face carved in stone. The internet quickly gave him names like the Nightmare and the Monster, and honestly, they weren't exaggerating. He's one of the most intimidating figures in fitness history. But beneath the size, there's a deeper story. Martin didn't start out a beast. He was once a tall, skinny teenager who dreamed of becoming a professional cricket player. But when an injury shattered that dream, he channeled his frustration into iron. Not just lifting, it was obsession. Day after day, year after year, he transformed his body into something that didn't even look human anymore. But he didn't stop at bodybuilding. He transitioned into mixed martial arts, then acting, landing roles in action films thanks to his terrifying presence. His training evolved too, more agility, speed, and striking. Despite his massive size, he moves fast. That's what makes him dangerous. People see a tank and expect slowness. They're wrong. He's thrown punches that look like they could knock down walls. He's trained with elite fighters, lifted cars, and helped coach others looking to push past their limits. Martin also uses his platform to motivate people, not just with aesthetics, but with mental toughness. He talks openly about his struggles with self-doubt and anxiety. That's the twist. The guy who looks invincible is still human. In 2022, he signed to fight in the boxing ring, and fans worldwide couldn't wait to see him unleash. Just the training footage was enough to rack up millions of views. People weren't tuning in for technique. They wanted to see what a man built like a boss-level enemy could do. Martin Ford is a reminder that size does intimidate, but it's the mindset behind the muscle that decides who wins. He didn't just build a body. He built an image, a reputation, and a legacy of relentless drive. Most Olympic champions push their bodies to the limit. Eero Mentiranta's body pushed itself. The Finnish skier didn't just win, he dominated. With 7 Olympic medals in cross-country skiing, he became a national hero. But the secret behind his success was hidden in his bloodstream. Eero had a rare genetic mutation that caused his body to produce up to 50% more red blood cells than the average person. This meant his muscles got more oxygen, his endurance lasted longer, and his recovery was almost immediate. In a sport where races are won by seconds and sometimes tenths of seconds, that made him nearly unbeatable. At first, coaches couldn't understand it. His lung capacity, his heart rate, his speed, they were all off the charts. He trained hard like everyone else, but when others collapsed, Eero kept gliding. Some accused him of cheating, but when tests were done years later, scientists discovered the truth: his body was naturally wired for greatness. The mutation, known as primary familial and congenital polycythemia, is incredibly rare. Most people with it never become athletes. Eero turned it into a weapon. He was called the man with rocket fuel for blood and the human machine. And yet he remained humble, never boasting, never bragging. He won gold at the Winter Olympics and was awarded honors in Finland that few athletes ever receive. And even after his competitive days were over, his story lived on. He became a case study for sports scientists trying to understand the limits of human performance. His life was proof that sometimes nature deals a wild card, but it's how you use it that matters. Eero didn't just coast on talent. He trained in snowstorms, climbed hills until his legs burned, and kept pushing, long after he'd already proven himself. While most athletes focus on power or speed, Eero's strength was in his lungs and blood. He was an endurance giant, a quiet champion with a body made for the extremes. Not just an Olympian, an anomaly who showed us what happens when biology and dedication meet. He stepped into the ring like a mountain. At 6'4" and over 230 pounds, Big John Tate looked like the future of heavyweight boxing in the late 1970s. For a moment, he was. He won Olympic bronze for the United States and later claimed the WBA world title, becoming one of the most feared punchers of his time. His jab was solid, his footwork surprisingly sharp for his size, and when he threw a right hook, it landed like a truck. In 1979, Tate defeated Gary Coetzee in South Africa in front of a massive crowd. The victory was historic. He became the first American heavyweight champion after Muhammad Ali's retirement, and many believed he'd carry the division for years. The boxing world buzzed with excitement. Tate was seen as the next big thing, literally and figuratively. But boxing isn't just about muscle, it's about mindset. In one of the most shocking turnarounds in heavyweight history, Tate lost his belt to Mike Weaver in 1980 in the final round, after dominating the entire fight. A single punch changed everything, and just like that, the momentum vanished. Still, Big John Tate's peak was something to remember. He had charisma, presence, a style that mixed raw power with surprising grace. When he was focused, there were few heavyweights who could match his pace or accuracy, and in his short reign, he helped keep heavyweight boxing exciting during a time of transition. While he may not be as widely remembered as Ali or Tyson, those who watched Tate in his prime knew he was built for greatness. His story is a reminder of how fast things can change in the ring. 1 second you're on top of the world, the next you're on the canvas. But even with that twist of fate, Big John Tate remains one of the most powerful forces the heavyweight division has ever seen. If strength had a queen, her name would be Becca Swanson. She's not just strong for a woman, she's stronger than most elite male powerlifters. With records that shattered expectations, Becca became the first woman in history to squat over 850 pounds, bench over 600, and deadlift over 700. That's right, that's real, measured, documented power. Swanson holds multiple all-time world records in powerlifting, and they're not even close. Her total combined lift in competition is over 2,000 pounds, something even most elite male lifters never reach. Her nickname, the strongest woman ever, isn't hype, it's fact. But Becca didn't just train to compete, she trained to dominate. Her workout routine wasn't for the faint of heart. It included extreme volume, heavy singles, and accessory work that would crush most gym-goers. She trained through pain, pushed through fatigue, and built a physique that looked like it came from a superhero movie. Swanson also stepped into pro wrestling and strongwoman competitions, proving her strength across multiple platforms. Wherever she went, jaws dropped. People weren't just impressed, they were stunned. Seeing a woman throw around more weight than 99% of men rewired how people thought about female strength. What makes her even more impressive is how she carried herself. No arrogance, no showboating, just pure grit, dedication, and confidence built through years of hard work. Her message was clear: if you want to be strong, stop making excuses. Start lifting. Today, she's a symbol of what happens when someone commits to raw physical power. She broke every mold. She erased the line between male and female performance in strength sports. Becca Swanson didn't follow the rules, she rewrote them. When Mariusz Pudzianowski stepped into the MMA cage, the crowd didn't cheer, they stared. The man looked like he was sculpted out of concrete, 5-time world's strongest man. Record-breaking lifts, arms like tree trunks, a neck thicker than most people's waists, but could he fight? Oh yes, he could. Pudzianowski started in powerlifting and strongman competitions where he dominated. He pulled planes, flipped tires the size of cars, and carried stones that would snap normal backs in half. But he didn't stop at strength sports, he wanted more. So he traded chalk for gloves and stepped into mixed martial arts, where size doesn't guarantee success. Critics said he was too big, too slow. They were wrong. He trained like a machine. He slimmed down, added speed, and worked on technique. His first MMA fight? He won by knockout in under a minute. That was just the beginning. Over time, he fought experienced opponents and held his ground. He learned grappling, improved his striking, and while he didn't become a world champ, he became something better. A living example of how pure strength, when guided by skill, can be a terrifying combination. Fans loved watching him fight, not just because of his size, but because he never backed down. He fought like he trained, with intensity, grit, and purpose. Every punch looked like it could end a fight. Every move had weight behind it. He became a Polish national hero, known as much for his attitude as his power. Mariusz Pudzianowski proved that strongmen aren't just about lifting. They can fight, they can evolve. And when someone with his level of dedication decides to step into a new arena, everyone should pay attention. High in the Himalayas, a group of women are flipping the script. Dressed in maroon robes, they don't just meditate and chant, they strike, kick, flip, and break bricks. These are the Kung Fu nuns of Nepal, a real group of female monastics, blending ancient Buddhist teachings with hardcore martial arts. And they're not here to play. Trained in Shaolin-style Kung Fu, these nuns use martial arts as both physical practice and a form of empowerment. Their kicks are sharp, their punches precise, and their movements are rooted in control and discipline. They train daily, rain or shine, building strength that's not just for show. But their story goes beyond combat. They fight for social change. Many of them come from disadvantaged backgrounds and have turned their training into a way to support local communities. They teach self-defense to women, promote environmental awareness, and challenge outdated norms about what women can or can't do in monastic life. What makes them even more incredible is their energy. You'll see them jumping over walls, sparring barefoot, or breaking wooden planks, and then, moments later, sitting in still meditation, calm as water. They've found the perfect balance between inner peace and outer strength. Their movement started within the Druk Amitabha mountain nunnery, where martial arts was introduced not as a gimmick, but as a serious discipline. Today, the Kung Fu nuns have gained international recognition. They've performed on global stages and inspired women across Asia to find strength through motion. That's about it. Which of these people surprised you the most? Write in the comments, and don't forget to check out our other videos.